So, WrestleMania 23.
Yes.
2007.
Whoa.
This is a big WrestleMania for a number of reasons.
Yes.
One is because
it's all right.
over the years, people have gone, this is the WrestleMania that everyone has forgotten about. There's a couple of Sportskeeda called it a forgotten classic. Bleacher Report went as far to say the best WrestleMania of them all. I mean, that's absolutely nonsense.
You've been getting high on your own bleach, mate. You've been getting too close to the pan.
This is a really important WrestleMania because with the things that have happened in the last couple of years with Donald Trump becoming the US president, this is Trumplemania. It's amazing. It's so... I know we've talked about Trump's relationship with the WWE before, but it's only when you see this one where there's a whole show set around the President of the United States of America. And it's so recent. It's like 12 years ago.
He looks exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
He's wearing the same clothes.
Yes.
The same sort of
He just
clothes.
hasn't got the red tie. He's still got the big dumpy dump truck. Bum.
Yep, he has.
Big
He's
old
still
butt.
pulling that funny jutting face. But this is not a thing where you go, God, yeah, that's what he did as a young man. You know, not like Lars Sullivan, the WWE superstar who made some homophobic comments and was found out to have, in his youth, starred in some homosexual adult movies.
I see.
Not like that.
No.
Because this isn't a different man. This is Donald Trump looking exactly the same then as he does now.
Yeah.
And that's the weirdest thing. It is just the president of the United States of America who happens to be in a big angle at WrestleMania. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It is a really weird thing because it overshadows this WrestleMania in a way that it didn't at the time.
Yeah.
At the time, he was just America's Alan Sugar.
Yeah, the guy from The Apprentice.
This is Sir Alan Sugar doing an angle with All-Star Wrestling's Brian Dixon. You know, that's the British version of this, and so it wasn't as weird as it became.
Yeah.
It set quite a few records as well. So it was 80,000 people attended live in Detroit. Yeah, I think it was certainly up until they started doing the stadiums. That was in the top 3 or 4 of their all-time attendance records for a WrestleMania, and therefore for any pay-per-view. It did 1.2 million buys on pay-per-view as well, which was at the time the most bought WWE pay-per-view in history.
Jeez.
So it was a monster event, which is even weirder why it is totally forgotten about. I think if you said to most people, what's the main event at WrestleMania, I can't even remember the fucking number of it, Pete. Is it
23?
23.
Yeah.
I was like, geez, even when I've watched it last night, I've got notes in front of me, and even then it's slightly getting away from me. But the main event is, you would say, well, it's the Battle of the Billionaires. What was the last match? I think most people would struggle to say, oh, of course, it's the battle between the 2 WWF Tag Team Champions, John Cena and Shawn Michaels. It's also overshadowed by the fact that it's Chris Benoit's last WrestleMania.
Yeah, he'd be dead within like 4 months or something.
100 days or so, after the match here.
Wow.
He's so this takes place in April, and I think in late June he is doing what he becomes best known for.
Right.
There is always a funny thing about watching Benoit in anything, and I think we've talked about this before, but it's almost like, for me, the passage of time, I forget that raw, visceral thing of when you were going, oh God, it's a murderer. And I can actually watch his matches now, and I don't think about that at all. I just sort of go, oh, there's Chris Benoit. And, watching him do what he does. I don't know what point I'm making there. I'm not saying that's a good thing. And I'm not saying, therefore he should be in the Hall of Fame.
I'm just saying good wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's... Papers over a lot of cracks.
I mean,
no one's saying that.
I think that's what I was saying. I wasn't saying, but who knows? But yeah, so it's this is also the WrestleMania that it's got the worst catchline, tagline.
Oh, Mark, I cannot get enough of this. It's so paedophilic. It's so Daily Mail, sidebar of shame.
Isn't it?
Young actress, growing up.
It's the language of like 1970s, 1980s knockabout tabloid Britain, isn't it? WrestleMania 23, all grown up. All grown up. Finally, you can fuck WrestleMania. You've waited all these years.
Who's the woman? Who was the Welsh opera singer that the son got very
Charlotte
upset?
Church.
Charlotte Church.
I've written exactly that name is written down there.
That was all grown up, wasn't it? That was
all grown up.
All grown up.
There was a countdown, wasn't there, that I believe one of the tabloids was doing to when she became legal.
Lord.
All grown up. All grown up. That's what they used to say about sort of child stars who had got addicted to drugs and then done playback boy.
Yeah.
And they'd always have that thing saying, here she is, it's, Millicent from the wonderful Fifth Nagel, all grown up.
Yeah, and she'll be wearing like a child's dress and a big wowie pop.
Wowie pop.
Big wowie pop.
Wouldn't it have been good if they'd just drawn two pert little breasts on the WrestleMania logo? All grown up.
Hair. Just bits of hair everywhere.
Tufts.
Disgusting.
When we were young, it was easy to underestimate us,
Write us off.
to label us.
Daddy's little girl, prima donna, brat.
But now,
We're all grown up. Keep your labels.
we know what we are.
Talented.
Confident, strong, diva.
I don't know. I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
I don't quite know what they're doing, but there's a weird thing as well, like 23. That's not, like 21 or 18. You can go all grown up, and it's like, key to the door.
Why have they done that? Did they just sort of went, look, we have owned a lot of these characters for a long time.
Don't
Maybe
know.
people like the idea that the Undertaker at like 50 is all grown up. Oh, isn't he all grown up?
Hasn't he?
undead, if anything.
Hasn't he got big since 1989 when he was absolutely the same size? The first thing I think about this one is the look of it is quite different as well. It's got very blue lights, and I think it's the first time they ever use all white ring ropes.
Oh, okay.
So it looks a little bit like a sort of really big dental surgery where everyone's like having a massive tussle. There's some little bits and bobs. The celebrities are very much an unusual lot of celebrities. So normally you get a couple of like rock stars and things like that, and you'll have some of the traditional people. This one, the celebrities on IMDb are listed as Miss USA 2006.
She hangs out with Trump, doesn't she?
She does. Right. Miss USA 2007.
Oh.
Miss Teen USA 2006.
More problematic.
And Miss Universe 2006. That is, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, those four women, they must have had a fucking terrible night. The second that last bell went, I bet the evening went from bad to worse. I should imagine they've all been paid off and they can't speak. But Jesus Christ. I mean, it's bizarre that you have the 1 year that Donald Trump is there, there are all of these pin-ups.
But that was kind of his brand. Did he do International Sexy Lady show or something? Did he did the whole kind of, he did Miss World, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent. I like that.
Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try.
Aretha Franklin.
Of course, yeah, she's back.
She's back.
She was at WrestleMania 3.
Yes.
I think quite famously then she pretty much arrived, performed and left, and they had a sort of circle of steel around her so that no one could get near her. She actually looks like she's having a really good time here.
Yeah, wearing a cracking little trouser suit sort of jobby.
Yeah, she looks a little bit like Rikishi. In a big blonde wig. She's a big lady by this point.
She's a big lady. There's an old Greg sign noticed in the crowd. I'm old Greg from the Mighty Boosh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm old Greg.
Is that?
Yeah, I checked the time. I checked the time. Yeah, timeline 3 years.
That does not seem that old.
I know.
I would say that. When did that come out? 2015.
Yeah.
I'm old Greg.
Yeah, I think one of the hosts of that show will be very into that. That idea. Yeah, I'm just 35.
We really should talk about the first match. Before we get to the first match,
there's a dark match.
There is a dark match.
What the fuck is going on in this one? I saw a little clip of it at the end.
Yep.
But I could not want to see this more.
Yep. This is Ric Flair and Carlito beating Gregory Helms, who was also known as the Hurricane before they changed that gimmick, and Chavo Guerrero in a tag team lumberjack match.
What's a lumberjack match?
A lumberjack match is where you have all the other wrestlers surrounding the ring.
Right.
And what happens is they used to use it when there was a big rivalry going on where it would constantly end in countouts or disqualifications. Well, what you'd do is you'd build up to a lumberjack match where all of the roster would come out, and when someone was thrown out of the ring, the lumberjacks would throw them right back in.
Right.
Yeah, and I have no idea why it's called lumberjack match.
Just how you carry
Maybe
a
it's
bit of wood, maybe.
Yeah, or like maybe that's what lumberjacks did in drinking bars in Alaska or something, and they'd all group round. I don't know why lumberjacks
We'll
would be.
get onto the lumberjills later on, which is actually what they call it.
Literally a word invented in 2007 for WrestleMania 23.
Never been used again.
Never again. There's never ever been any need to.
No.
Even in lumberjack matches with women, they don't call them lumberjills anymore.
No, do they not?
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Cool.
So this match, I was like, fuck me, Ric Flair in a dark match. So like next year's WrestleMania, he is retiring.
Right.
In a great match against Shawn Michaels.
Spent most of his time in hospital recently.
Yes.
Oh, you mean next year after this? Sorry.
Yeah, after
I thought
this
you
one.
meant now.
Not next year. No. He may be retiring from a wider stage, but so he's only got a year in his career left.
Right.
And it just seems amazing. They know he is coming to the end of a career. And they're like, oh, we'll put him on WrestleMania 23. But Ric Flair in a fucking dark match. It's so
very
rude.
disrespectful.
Really disrespectful. I did not watch this match. It was on all the DVDs. And
was
stuff.
it? Right, okay.
But what I got really into was I think, which you're going to love. So Carlito gave an interview a couple of days beforehand, and the interview was with it was at the THQ 5th Annual Superstar Challenge at Detroit's Gem Theatre,
right,
where all of the wrestlers get together before WrestleMania weekend, and they played SmackDown versus Raw 2007 in a big tournament.
Right, I thought THQ. I thought that's a video game developer, isn't it?
Yeah, THQ. I was going to say it's in the game, but it's not, is it?
Isn't it?
Yeah. So Carlito does this interview at this games tournament that they're having, and it's great when you catch people at a moment where they think this is just some, we're just playing the computer game thing.
Yeah.
So he told the journalist, I'm out of WrestleMania. Apparently, they had to make space for Kane versus Carly and Melina versus Ashley. How can I be at WrestleMania? If I politic and kiss ass, I should make it. I'm not going to cry or be bitter. There's always next year. And I don't want to get fired. But they're showing disrespect by not having Ric Flair at WrestleMania, and even more disrespect by not having Carlito there. So,
Carlito's woo,
he adds
like.
that on. I like the way he adds that on like it's a wrestling thing where he's going, there's showing so much disrespect. I mean, I can only get there by ass kissing, but Ric Flair, I mean, he really should be at WrestleMania. And even worse than that,
kick his ass.
Carlito's not there. They then said to him, are you happy with your career at the moment? And he said, I absolutely hate being a babyface more than anything else.
Wow.
So he was like, really, I love it when people are in dark matches and they are like, even Carlito, who cares whether Carlito's in the dark match or not? Ric Flair is in there, and it's just fun that all around it, everyone's going, this is bullshit. This is just bullshit. What this is with the Lumberjacks thing, it was also an attempt to get everyone on the roster. They get a little bit of money for turning up to WrestleMania.
Right, okay.
You don't want to be working for WWE and you don't get to be on WrestleMania.
Yes.
So in recent years, they've always done battle royales and things so that everybody gets a chance to go out in front of a half-empty stadium.
Sell a couple of T-shirts.
Yeah, in the blazing midday sun and, spend 13 seconds before rolling out of a ring and then having a 2-minute walk to the back. Magic. The person who won that Superstar Challenge video game was Elijah Burke, who we'll see later. Chavo Guerrero, he played as Eddie Guerrero in this, and he beat Mr. Kennedy in the first round. And
we're getting so meta. We're doing the actual matches.
He noted to the press afterwards, he said, that felt like redemption to me, he said, because Mr. Kennedy, of course, was my Uncle Eddie Guerrero's last ever opponent before he died. So strange. Such a strange
It's a weird sort of thing to say,
isn't it? Well, I'm playing my uncle in this game, and it was good because I beat the guy who he had his last match against. That feels like redemption for the family.
Yeah,
I hope they filmed all these things. They must have filmed them.
They must have done that. They'll be on some long-forgotten, localised German THQ YouTube page somewhere.
Absolutely. The thing that people have always been looking for, they used to do radio broadcasts of big pay-per-views in the 90s, which would be played to sort of troops in Afghanistan and things like that. I want to hear the Forces radio of the THQ Superstar Challenge from 2007.
I want to hear the Forces radio version of the THQ Super Challenge match from 2007, but I want it reproduced like they did for live TV in the Lennox Lewis Tyson match, where they just got two actors to box it out while they had a block on a mobile phone describing the action.
Amazing. That
From
is.
ringside.
We're in for a real classic here today.
Oh, God, silly like Shane. God. Oh, dear. God. God. Really? Come on. Lip gloss. Yes, but she's showing her cellulite. Now she's trying to knock the cameraman over. Get off. Yeah.
Well, they've obviously had a lot of fights over the years behind closed doors, many of them, but perhaps what a few people don't realise is that Her Majesty the Queen may be a very experienced combatant.
Now, look, I mean, we've come to the end of this episode. Yes. If you've got the DVD, we haven't even started WrestleMania. We talked about Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
But the important thing is you've learnt a lot, haven't you?
There was an audio version of this.
Yeah. And you've heard a lot about a long-forgotten video games tournament that I imagine even the people involved in have little to no recollection of.
I think what I'm going to do is if the person next to me starts beating me, I might give him one of these, knock him down for a little bit, and then take advantage of their
domination.
Just don't tell anybody else that.